Is Acheron good with duo DPS? Probably not as good as some other units, right? She does use skill points, doesn't have any like skill point neutrality there like Jingliu or Blade. She does have some pretty big self-buffing potential, so that is one of the things that you're going to want to look for when getting a good proper duo DPS setup, is does the character actually buff themselves? And third is that if you actually want to run a duo DPS with Acheron, it's probably good for it to be a debuffer. So any DPS that has a debuff tied into their kit, so I'm thinking either like a Doctor Ratio with that effect res debuff, Topaz, I guess technically, although those two don't really have any synergy, Topaz and Acheron. As for other characters that can apply debuffs, I really can't think of any off the top of my head. So either if you go for a debuffing DPS, or if you go the opposite route and you go for just a DPS that might synergize well with whatever team you're running. Now, usually Ranmei is going to be like your premier duo DPS support, right? Because she gives like the same amount of buffs to every single person, all the res pen, all the damage boost. It's pretty massive damage boost too. Sparkle also is probably one of the second best partners, maybe even best, depending on how you play the game, because the skill points allow, so now both your DPSs can just skill as much as you want, and you still have skill points left over for your support characters to skill when they need to, especially since Sparkle's going to be skilling the entire time. But even with Pela, we're going to be skilling with Pela a lot. So having the Xueyi come into connection with the Acheron and then having these duo DPS shenanigans go on does work out, particularly because this is also a quantum weak side. So if this wasn't quantum weak, then this obviously wouldn't work nearly as well. So we'll probably just slot in a different DPS. Now here, actually, we can't see it because my face is covering it up, but it's a skill. That's what the Ascended Shadow is going to punish us for, our skills. That's why we couldn't skill with Pela, and we also couldn't skill with Acheron. So we did lose out on a little bit of damage there, just because we would have got killed if we had hit. So now we did skill on purpose, even though we knew we were going to get hit, just because I wanted to get a little bit more damage and a couple extra stacks. Perfect. And now here we do have all the stacks of defense shred, so we are just going to go ham and deal the maximum amount of damage that we can. And at this point, we got lucky, didn't hit Acheron and Pela. The other enemy died to the dot. So now at this point, all we have to do is just make sure we can deal enough raw damage, because we're not going to get another ult up. Okay, and we do still have the stacks of Xueyi. So, okay, we crit. If we didn't crit, we could have relied on the crits from Xueyi's follow-up, but the follow-up isn't even necessary. So that's the Xueyi Duo DPS Acheron run. So this is our Acheron. Attack boots, nothing too special. Only gets 2 actions per turn because we only have Sparkle. So we'll just rely on those 2 actions. Xueyi is on speed boots, 134, so she gets her 2 actions without the need of a boost from anybody else. Sparkle is also 135, slower than Pela though, so we do get the defense shred up before our Acheron and our Xueyi do go. And then Pela is the fastest at 142 with resolution. There it is. That's the run. Any suggestions? Leave it in the comments. Let me know if you liked the comboing of Xueyi and Acheron. I thought it was pretty fun. Like the video. Subscribe. Adios.